and then the camera on my laptop would pick you up. And you will not be required to do that at all. All right. But anyway, let's now go right into our welcoming piece here. I have a short presentation that I'm going to show you just because it keeps me focused on what it is that I want to go over with you today. All right. It's going to take me a few minutes to get back in gear. Felt like it was a long summer, but honestly, it was too short. I was not ready to come back to school today, mentally. Yeah, I'm here. I was ready to go. So let's go over our little welcome message here today. And there I had some music, but obviously I missed that. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about me, and then we're going to get into you. So I'm going to give you a little information about me. This is my family right here. That's me. Some of you, I think, know my daughter. Anyone know my daughter? You know my daughter from Youth Court. Yeah, my daughter's a student at Shaker. She does Colony Youth Court. She's on Shaker's varsity field hockey team. So any of you ladies on the field hockey team here at Colony? All right. What did I say? We have a match against each other. I think it's next week. And we also are parishioners at Christ Our Light Church here in Louderville. Some of you may know me from there as well. I'm one of the ladies who sings up front in the church. So sometimes my students are like, I know you from somewhere. I'm like, probably church. I live in the area. Obviously, we're in Latham because my daughter goes to Shaker. And these are our 3 pups. Those are my other kids. That's it. That's my family. Why am I putting a picture of the high school here? Because this is where I went to high school too. I grew up off Sand Creek Road on Kennedy Drive. Anybody know where Kennedy Drive is? Okay, it's going towards West Albany. That's where I lived for most of my formative years. I went to West Albany Elementary, which is now some luxury condos that they're building off Everett Road. After I graduated from here, I then went to RPI, which is across the river in Troy, New York. And while I was there, I studied biomedical engineering. I have a bachelor's degree in biomedical engineering with an electrical engineering option. And then my master's degree is also in engineering. So I never really planned to be a teacher. And when I finished at RPI with all of the debt, I went to work. And I worked for a company called Haemonetics. They're located outside of Boston. And they make devices that are used to collect blood at blood drives and to separate blood into its components. And so that way a patient who needs a transfusion can get their own blood back instead of having to go to a blood bank to get somebody else's blood, which is a really cool thing. This is a picture of the machines that I worked on while I was there. One of the parts inside of this is something that I designed. And as far as I know, it's not killed anyone yet, which is a great thing. It means I did a good job. And then this is my extended family. Some of you may know this guy over here. Do you recognize him? Anyone here recognize him? This is an older picture, so maybe he doesn't look quite the same. This is Mr. Canestracci. You know who Mr. Canestracci is here at the high school in the music wing? He is our orchestra teacher, head of the music department for South Colony. That's my brother. So he's my younger brother. I will say he is younger. He's 2 years younger than I am. And then these are my parents. My parents come to every concert here that we have at the high school. So you may see them there, especially if you're in music. You'll see them at concerts. I wish I could get them to come here when we do presentations for physics. Have them come see your presentations. But they're like, no, we're just going to go to the concert. The concert's more fun. Anyway, let's now find out a little bit about you. And I have a sheet for you to fill out. Do you have a pen or pencil? You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. And I'll walk you through what I'd like you to do. You're welcome. For today, can you please print the information I need on this sheet? Some of you I know are studying to be future doctors, so your handwriting may be a little difficult for me to figure out. So if you can print, so that way I can read what you're writing, that would be very helpful to me. I think the top of this will be pretty easy because it's asking for your name. If you don't have a pen or pencil up front, there is a little green tin. You can go ahead and grab a pencil from there if you need it. And that's true any day of the class. If you need something, we have stuff up front. So on the top of this sheet, it's asking for your last name, then your first name, and the class period. If you have a name that's different than your given name that you would prefer I call you by, let me know. Put that on there. All right. Like my daughter's legal name is Juliana, but she doesn't go by Juliana. Everybody knows her as Grayson. That's what she prefers to be called. So I would say put that there. All her teachers today are going to call her Juliana, and it's going to piss her off. That's not my name. That's not what I want to be called. Well, sorry, honey, that's the name on your birth certificate. Until you change that, that's what they're going to call you. So just fix that on here for me so I know what I can call you. I would then like to know below, what grade are you in school? I think most of you are either 11th or 12th grade based on the roster. Sometimes I have a 10th grader that sneaks in. Not in this course today. Okay, then I need your guidance counselor's last name. If you can put that on the line for me. And then these are some questions about you. Just for my own knowledge. What are your interests and hobbies? What kinds of things do you like to do outside of your academic classes? Are you into listening to music? Are you into roller skating or rollerblading? I don't know. One of the things I'm interested in that I recently started doing, as you can see, I have 3 dogs, Ellie, Miko, and Nugget. But right now I have 5 dogs at home. Why do I have 5 dogs at home? Because my daughter and I just started fostering dogs for a dog rescue group. So one of the things that I'm really interested in is animal welfare and making sure that every animal has a safe place to live and a loving home, as we all should. So if you could, please tell me what you're interested in. Another big interest of mine is music. That's why I do a lot of singing outside of school. Then I'd like to know, what do you think you want to do after high school? Are you planning to go to college or the military or a career? If you're planning to go to college, what do you think you want to major in right now? You don't have to know for sure. Basically, try to answer the question for me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I know that's a really hard question to answer. Then, if you could tell me something interesting about yourself that few people know. Let's see if I can come up with something about me that few people know. My life has been pretty much an open book. Oh, one thing that you guys don't know about me, this is my 27th year of teaching here at Colony High School. So that's not something that a lot of my colleagues know. They know I've been here a long time, but not exactly 27 years. So in 4 years, my plan is to retire. And then go have a second career, or a third career, I guess I should say, because my first career was engineering. Second career is teaching, and then my third career, who knows? Then if there's something that you did over the summer that you can tell me about that you're particularly excited that you did, something interesting that you did over the summer, then what are you looking forward to learning in this course? And what are you most nervous about? I know this is not a class. Some kids are really excited about taking Regents physics. Others are not so much. They're more just kind of scared. Science isn't their best subject. It is a tough course. So what are you nervous about? Let me know. I can try to help alleviate your fears. The back, don't worry about it. It's just the front. Give you a few minutes to do that. By the way, the lady on the side of the room, that's Miss Crook. She's another one of our physics teachers here at Colony High School. Our office has an issue right now that doesn't allow us to stay in our office. One of the asbestos floor tiles cracked last week, and until they get that fixed and repaired, we can't use our office. Otherwise, we'll end up with some form of lung cancer. Not how I want to spend my retirement, dealing with lung cancer. So we're using our classrooms as our office for now. One thing that you'll see me do as I hand things out to you, any extra handouts that I have, I'll be putting them in the bins over here I have a bin right here for the Regents courses. So this handout, not that you're going to need it, I'm going to collect it from you in a couple minutes. Any extras, let's say you lose something, you can come over here. You don't have to ask me for an extra. If I have it, it's over here. You can just help yourself to it. I also have blank paper if you ever need paper. Ran out, come grab some. And pencils are in this little tin here. There's a sharpener up here as well. While you're finishing that up, I'm going to get to the next handout I have for you, which is our course outline and lab safety contract. You keep working on that pink sheet, and in a minute I'll collect it up. You're welcome. You're welcome. So tell me your name. I'm going to ask you again.
Miriam.
Miriam.
I just did a case with her.
Oh, see? Actually, I think she said to me your name. So I'll have to, when I see her later, I'll say, guess who's in my periodic class? She'll be excited to know you're here. I know I see a few of you still working on the pink sheet. Go ahead and keep working on that. Before we go through what's in here, I want to tell you a little bit about what physics is and what we'll be studying in the course, okay? I have a little video here to help us with that.
The universe is like an endless room with endless treasures and secrets. The deeper we go into it, the more interesting it gets. Human mind is filled with immense curiosity to find out all the hidden secrets of the universe. This curiosity has developed from the visible phenomenon of nature occurring around us in our daily lives. Mankind has observed the nature's gift from the beginning of the universe. The burning fire out of stones and the heat emerging from the fire, the thunder, lightning, in a stormy night, sounds of thunder, the days and nights, the sun and the moon, and lots of other things that make the universe a wonder, provoke human mind to find out more about them. Physics is a Greek word which means knowledge of nature. Physics deals with the study of nature and properties of matter, energy, and their relationship. Physics include all kinds of matter. In smallest form, it includes atoms and the tiniest particles that make up an atom. And in larger physical forms, it includes stars, planets, and the universe. It includes energy in all forms like light, air, sound, magnetism, gravity, etc. In other words, physics teaches us about the study of naturally occurring objects that might not even have a shape, but are fundamentals in occurrence of universe. A brief overview. Physics, in particular, focuses on some of the most fundamental questions about our physical universe. Physics can also be described as the science dealing with physical quantities. In this regard, physics is widely considered to be the most fundamental and important of all the natural sciences. Physics and mathematics are closely related to one another. It can be said that mathematics is the language of physics. That is another way of better understanding what physics is. Numerical values, units of measurement, and similar concepts are all mathematical in nature and are used to describe physics in the most accurate and precise manner. Physics has several branches dealing with different forms of matter and energy in space and time. Acoustics, the study of sound and sound waves. Astronomy, the study of space. Astrophysics, the study of physical properties of objects in space. Optics, the study of propagation, behavior, and properties of light. Thermodynamics, the study of heat and its relation with energy and work. Geophysics, the study of the shape, structure, and composition of Earth and its crust. Atomic physics, it deals with the study of composition of atom apart from nucleus. Other than these, physics has various other branches that we'll cover over a period of time.
All right. So that was like a really, really fast introduction to physics. And we'll go through some, obviously, by the end of the course, you'll be able to tell me what you learned this year about physics. And hopefully you can explain it to somebody else about what physics is about. This part here, I think I've already mentioned at the start of class that I'm recording all of our classes and posting them in our Google Classroom stream with our daily announcement. So if you're ever absent, you should be watching that recording and checking Google Classroom to see what you missed. The other thing that's there, On occasion, I have students who want to join from home. You're out for an extended period of time, but you're able to still, you want to keep up with the daily class without watching a recording. I always think it's better to do it live versus to watch a recording. You always learn better from interaction. So if you'd like to join, if you're, I don't know, you're going on a vacation. I really don't care where you're going. I'll be jealous. Let's just put it that way. It's not that I don't care. It's that for whatever reason, you're not here. But if you're able to join a Google Meet, you can do that. The link to join our Google Class Meet, where I'm making the recording, is in Google Classroom. You can post that and feel free to join if you're, for whatever reason, not able to be here, but you are able to join the meet. Okay. I've had students join from the airport before. They're waiting for a flight, and that's what they're doing. They're going on a college visit, requires them to travel that way, and that's what they do. Had kids join from the car on the thruway going to a college visit, those kind of things. So feel free to do that if you're able. Okay, let's now start to go through this. I'll collect those pink sheets at the end of the period. Let me get one set of lights back on. These are the required materials. What the class is about is already listed on the top of the yellow sheet, the fundamental description of the course and the units of the course from New York State. New York State really dictates to us what we teach you in this course since it's a Regents course. But the materials that I'll need you to have in class every day, obviously I'm going to want you to have your Chromebook here. We do a lot of labs where you're going to be inputting data into a Google Sheet and constructing graphs using Google Sheets. You won't necessarily be doing everything by hand anymore. It's part of why we have technology. So I want you to know how to use the technology, which means you'll need your Chromebook, along with a charger if you're not coming to school with a charged Chromebook. My recommendation is every night, plug your Chromebook in, and that way you can come to school with a fully charged Chromebook. I don't have 24 chargers, and there are 24 of you here in class. So it just makes it a lot easier if we all come to school with a charged device. You'll need a scientific or graphing calculator. Most of you, I think, have a TI 84 Plus or something like that from your math classes that you've been using since Algebra 1. That's fine. You can use that in this class. New York State allows you to use that on our Regents exam as well. You'll need a notebook or loose leaf paper to take notes. You'll need a folder, either a 2-pocket folder, or I guess you could use a 3-ring binder and get some dividers. However you want to organize the many handouts and notes that you're going to have. I want you to try to stay organized as best you can. A lot of my students from past years have said that they knew they had to take some type of physics course in college. You all have a science requirement when you go to college. What the science class is either chemistry or physics. If you choose to take physics, very often it mirrors what we've done in this course. They kept their physics notes and packets from this class, and they used those in their college class and did very well. So you may decide that you want to keep all of your things. So try to keep yourself organized. It will help you in the future. You'll also need some graph paper. You'll need pens for taking tests. That's the only reason you need a pen in this class, is to take a test. Just like on the Regents exam, you have to do it in pen. And the type of pen you need is dark blue or black. Not a gel pen. We talk about ballpoint. Those cheap ballpoint pens you can get at the dollar store, 12 for $1.25. That kind of thing. You will need pencils every day, hopefully with a good eraser, because we're all going to make lots of mistakes. And we want to be able to fix them by erasing what we've done instead of putting a lot of ink on the page and covering it up. You'll also need a device called a protractor. Protractor is used to measure angles. Let's see, I have one here. The smaller it is, the better. Some of you will have large ones, and that's okay. But if you can find them this size for the class, that's ideal. If not, that's okay. Often I can swap with you. You give me a large one, I'll give you a small one if you need a small one to do what you're doing. But this is a protractor. You'll need your own. And then you're also going to need a metric ruler. The inch markings are not anything we use in this course. It's got to be metric, which means it will either have centimeter or millimeter markings on that device. Please get those by Monday. Okay. The protractor you don't need by Monday, but the ruler you will. Your assignment over the weekend is to measure with your ruler. You don't have a ruler, I don't know how you're going to do that homework. Most of us have rulers at home. So please make sure you've got a metric ruler. Any questions about the materials? If any of you have difficulty obtaining those devices, or there's a financial hardship which prevents you from getting those things, let me know. The school has materials for you that I can loan to you. Okay? Let's talk about how we calculate your average every marking period in this class. There's 4 components. One component, of course, are the labs. Because it's a Regents course, we have a requirement to do labs with you, a certain number of contact minutes. We well exceed that requirement. In case New York State were ever to come in and audit our lab program, we don't want any of you to be disqualified from the Regents exam. So we make sure we go well beyond that. But 30% of your grade will come from the scores you earn on the labs. And that's how correct they are. Not just did you do them, it's not a completion grade, it's a correctness grade. So you want to make sure when you do your labs that you're being very particular and careful about your work. Just like a real scientist needs to be careful and precise when they do their work. 40% will come from unit tests. Every unit ends with an exam on paper. So 40% of that grade will come from that. 20% from quizzes on each subtopic in the course. And 10% on this thing called college and career readiness, which I'll explain to you in a minute. Just a note about homework. I do assign some type of homework every day. If it's not a written assignment, it's studying. I expect you to go back and review your notes, do some practice, look at an old test, figure out what mistakes you made so you don't repeat them. I expect about 20 minutes every night. I don't think 20 minutes is too much. Most of us spend more than 20 minutes just doom scrolling on our phones every night. So try to replace that with studying for physics, and you'll have a much better outcome in this class. If it's a written assignment, the written assignment could consist of something having to do with the daily class notes, or perhaps watching a short video and answering some questions on that video. It could be working on a few practice questions like what we did in class to make sure you can do them yourself without assistance from me. Could be a review assignment to get ready for a test, or finishing up a lab, something that we started in class and now you have to answer a couple questions on your own. Those kind of things. It shouldn't take you very long. And if you ever have difficulty with an assignment, you should feel free to email me. I get email notifications on my phone all night long. I'm in bed, I hear ding, I know, oh, somebody just emailed me from school. And I usually check it. When you get to be my age, we don't sleep well anymore at night. So I'm up all the time, especially with puppies at home. I'm up, my alarm goes off every day at 1 a.m. so I can bring them out to go potty. Just, okay, I'll respond to your email at 1 a.m. Chances are you might still be up. Who knows? Labs, this is the top piece is the New York State law related to labs for a Regents course. I think this is on the next page in the handout about the lab activities. New York State law requires we do 1,200 minutes of either hands-on or virtual labs. We do a combination along with some written, it says a lab report. Don't worry. I might have you write one real lab report this year. Most everything else is on a worksheet. You just fill out the worksheet, submit it, and you're all set. As long as they are satisfactory. And this word satisfactory is debatable. At Colony High School, our definition of a satisfactory lab report means that the grade you earned on the lab was at least a 50%. 50% factored into your lab average is not a good grade. You want to get grades that are 80% or better, B's or better on your labs, especially since I'm going to do most of them with you on the screen, so you can just follow along and copy things down. So as long as you're following along, you should be doing very well. We do have a policy here in Regents Physics that's a little different than what you may have experienced when you took chemistry or earth science or living environment. And our policy in physics, because you're all that much closer to leaving Colony High School, we want to start to get you ready for what you're going to experience once you graduate, is that all your labs have to be satisfactory by the end of the marking period. Okay? If you have a missing lab from the first quarter, when the first quarter closes, you're going to get an F on your report card. An F. That's a 50% factored into your GPA. Now, why do we do that in physics? You cannot pass this course and get credit for it unless all your labs are satisfactory. That is your ticket to taking the final exam and receiving credit for this course. Most of you will not need the graduation credit for the exam, passing the Regents exam. But many of you do need the Regents credit for passing the course, which the labs are tied to. Okay, so to make sure that you're getting things done in a timely manner, we put that requirement in place, and that is a requirement that myself, Ms. Crook, and Mrs. Vernal next door all follow. We're all doing the same thing. So we want you to get your labs caught up in the marking period that they were assigned. Likewise, if a lab is not a grade of 50%, you can come back in and correct that lab, and that way the grade goes up so you've met the requirement and don't get an F on your report card. All right? It's not meant to be a scary thing. I think in my 27 years, I've had to give an F for labs maybe 3 times. So if you think about how many students I've taught probably 2,500 kids in my 27 years. And I've only had to do it 3 times. That's because you folks are not, the kids who are going to have a problem with that are not in physics. I just want to make sure that you understand what our expectation is right now. I'm setting it right out there for you. Let's talk a little bit about college and career readiness, this last category, this 10% grade. To try to get you ready for what's going to happen after Colony High School, 10% of your grade is awarded for skills that you demonstrate to me on a daily basis as to how well you're progressing to be ready for college or going off and having a job, a full-time career, not just working at McDonald's and flipping burgers. I'm talking about like a real job, like maybe that is, I'm not saying it's not, but you're not going to, making minimum wage your whole life isn't going to get you. It's not going to get you to pay for your own insurance and pay for rent on an apartment. You need to do more than that. And you all know that. So what kinds of skills do we think you need in order to be successful out there beyond Colony High School? Things like being on time to class. You're not straggling. You're actually getting here by the time the bell rings. You are in the room by the time the bell rings. I am not talking about the situation where you have a pass in securely from another teacher and you're coming late. That's acceptable. That is okay. I'm talking about you're showing up late without a pass. That's not okay. All right. That you're participating in class. I know second period is still kind of early for most of us. You may not be awake. I need you to try to have a jolt of caffeine before you come to school. I got my coffee here. I'm still waking up. So just do the best you can to participate. It may not be oral participation. It could just be raising your hand when I ask questions, those kind of things. And making sure that all of your homework is done on time. If there's a daily assignment and I check it, it's because it's going into this part of your daily grade. So what you'll see in Aspen every day, and you're going to get a grade for today, that every day you're going to get a grade of a 0 or a 1. Today's daily grade, you're all going to get a 1. And that's because you were all here. I'm not worrying about a couple of you came in late. You're trying to find the room. That's okay. Today is don't worry about it. Tomorrow, now you know where the room is. I want you here on time, but I also need you prepared for class. It also means you're not using your cell phone. If I see you on a device that you're not supposed to have, you got a 0. Done. Okay, and that's non-negotiable. Plus, then we have an issue. I got to call your principal and have them come and take the phone from you in the class. I don't want to just take time away from the rest of us learning. Okay? Any questions about that? All right, why don't we do this? We're going to take a break now. We heard the bell. Get up, stretch. There's a water fountain right outside this room. When we come back from the break, I'm going to tell you where your assigned seat is. And then I'm going to go over the assignment that goes with this yellow pen. Okay? Go ahead, take a quick break, and we'll resume on the other side of the Yes, I'm going to come get the pink sheet while you're taking a quick break. well, thank you. Hey, I'm just scoot behind you to get through that. Somebody's, thank you. Can I get your picture? Thank you. Hey, Emily, could you do me a favor? Yeah,
I wrote all that. They didn't give you one first. I got this first period. Like they never.
Just ask her to do it. Is that all right? Yeah, an emergency. Period 5. The thing is, I don't have a break.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, not a problem.
Yeah, today's my long day. Teach through 5, 2 to 5. In a row. Hey, good morning. All right, I'm looking at my course outline. I'm like, I don't have enough copies. I put it in, but I'm trying. I'm like, I only have 12 more. And I have 2 more questions. I do. Question is where?
All right.
That's okay. There you go. You're welcome.
I never got a Chromebook. I mean, you asked me a Chromebook target. I never got like the schedule. So like I don't know.
Okay, so you're gonna want to look at Aspen on your Chromebook.
I need my Chromebook.
Charger?
Yeah.
Do you have a Chromebook?
Yeah. I have a
Okay.
How many copies do you have?
40. Yeah, if you can. Thanks, Sam.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right. So we're gonna now play a little bit of musical chairs. All right. So you're gonna take your things with you, and then I'll finish up going through this yellow sheet. So listen up, and I apologize if I say your name wrong. Okay. I'm gonna start over here. So Ryder. Here's Ryder. Ryder, you're gonna sit here. Miriam, you're gonna sit here. Sydney. Where's Sydney? Come on over here. And then Vincent. Thank you, Vincent. Then Gianna. And Gianna, I have an ID for you. You're going to need this anytime you come late to school. You're going to have to scan that. Okay. Then Ryan there. Did you remove?
I think I will see.
1 seat. Oh, look at that. Okay. And Jacob. Alexander. Then, I'll put my glasses on. Nikolai. Then Devin. Juan. And Audrey. Okay. And you might be able to recheck the folks that are okay. All right, this back row, I have Elisa, Maxwell, Elise, Jackson, and here I have Shelly, Blake, Emma, Claudia, Haley, Gavin, Kiara, and Janisa. Janisi. It is an I there, not a small. I put my glasses on after. Did I say anybody's name wrong and you want me to? You can correct me. It's okay. I'll tell you the biggest thing that I always hear with my name. My first name is Michelle. but I spell it with one L. And growing up, all the forms would not print all of those letters. It always stopped. It was always Michel. That was it. Since I was in kindergarten, I was always called first day of school, Michael. After a few years, I got really kicked. No, it's Michelle. It's not Michael. Even when I graduated from college at RPI, Michael Canestracci. I'm like, it's Michelle. And at the time, one of our newscasters from Channel 13 was the announcer for our graduation. I got my name said twice. So they said Michelle Canestracci. And then I walked across. I paid a lot of money for that degree, and I worked really hard. I wanted my name said correctly. So they did. So if I'm not saying your name correctly, please correct me. I will get it. It may take me a little while to remember it. I have a lot of students this year. Extra teaching an extra class. So it may take me a little while, but I will get it. I promise you that is my goal in the next couple of days, to know all of your names and your faces and first and last, and hopefully spell them correctly too. Okay, it's a lot when I have 120 kids this year. It's a lot for me to do in a couple of days. Right? Any questions for me? All right. So this is where I'd like you to sit for at least for now, and we'll see as the time progresses if we need to make any changes. All right. On this yellow sheet, there's just a couple more things I want to go over. Let's just talk quickly about extra credit. I do give extra credit, but it's not extra assignments that I'm going to give you. I don't believe in giving you extra work to do, especially busy work that has nothing to do with what we're learning. Instead, what I would like you to do for extra credit to improve your grade is to correct your work. You correct work where you've made mistakes, and now you're going to get points back so your grade goes up. Okay, the kind of work that you can correct are on two things. They're on unit exams. Half of your unit exam will be multiple choice. The other half will be what we call constructive response. You are allowed to correct your multiple choice questions that you get wrong. And when you correct them, I'll give you a sheet to correct them on. If you get it correct and you explain why the correct answer is correct, not just telling me the answer is B, you gotta tell me why the answer was B and give me a correct explanation, then you'll get half the points you lost back. So let's do the math on this. Let's say you're getting an 80% on the test, and you lost those 20 percentage points because of the multiple choice. You correct all the multiple choice. How many points are you going to get back on your test? 10. That's right, because you lost 20 points. You're going to get 10 back. So what's the new grade you're going to see in Aspen? 90. I think that's pretty good, especially when tests are worth so much in your average. You're not going to have till the end of the marking period to do that. You'll get 1 week to do those corrections. The kicker with that is it does have to be signed by a parent or guardian at home so they know you're doing the corrections. That's it. Just quick signature, turn it in, you're all done. The other thing that you can correct are your labs. So if a lab is turned in and it's not 100%, by the end of the marking period, you can come in to see me to correct it. Those you can't do at home, you have to correct them with me. And then I'll give you half the points back that you lost once you've made the correction. Okay, so if you get, again, an 80% on a lab and you correct it, and it's all correct after you've corrected it, that's what your grade is now. A 90 on that lab as well. Okay, that's, I think, the best way I can help you improve, and it's directly relevant to what we're doing in class, so you're learning from your mistakes. Hopefully you don't repeat those mistakes. Instead of having you do some stupid puzzle or read a news article, I want it related to the course to help you out as you go along. Office hours are by appointment. I don't say I have set days after school. It's all by appointment. Just let me know when you want to see me. It can be during the day where you can send me an appointment pass insecurely and I can approve it if you have a free period, and I'm free that period as well. It could be after school. It could also be outside of school hours, like even after the late bus. I live very close to the Colony Library. The Colony Library is open till 8 p.m. every weeknight. And on Saturdays, I think it's open till 6 or 7. And it's also open on Sunday afternoons. If you want to meet over the weekend, I'm cool with that. But it can't be here because the school's not open. So we could meet at the library. Public place. We get it. Come in 15 minutes, do whatever. I just need to know you're going to want to meet me there. The other thing we could do, if you want to meet in the evening and you can't meet at the library, you could say, can we have a Google Meet? You're home, I'm home, that's cool too. All right? Any questions? Okay. As long as I'm able to get on a meet and I'm not running around. Okay, the next, what is it, 3 pages, 2 pages? 2 actual sheets. I am not going to read the next page to you, front and back. That's the lab safety document. I want you to read that tonight, front and back. Read it with a parent or guardian at home. And then the last page that is stapled to the document is the one that has to get signed and returned to me. Your part to sign it, let's do it together now. Let me show you where you're going to sign. You're going to actually sign, write your name in 2 places. Let me show you where. Oh, thank you, Miss Crook. Get my document camera up here so I can show you where you're going to sign. All right. So I need you to print your name right here. So if this were my lab document, I would write I, Michelle Famoso. Please print your name there. This is your name, not mine, yours. I'm just saying, let's say I'm the student in the class, okay? Print your name here. Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's why they're all looking at me like, what's going on? Just say, hey, Miss Famoso, it's not on the screen. That disconnects all the time. There we go. Your name goes here. Your name, not mine, yours. Print it. You need to sign right here where it says student signature. Sign your name there, please. Today's date is September 4, 2025. And then again, I need you to print your name right here. So what's your homework? Your homework is to get their signature, parent or guardian, right here, along with putting the date they signed it. Now, once that's done, hopefully you can get this done tonight so you don't forget. When it's done, you're going to detach this from that document, and this is the only thing I want back. This is for you to keep, and it should be the first thing that goes in your physics binder or your physics folder. Okay? Questions? All right. Then we are going to move on to something else. We're now going to start physics. You're going to need some paper or your notebook for this class. So if you need paper, remember I have some up front in that second blue bin from the top. You can come up and get some. It is already hole punched. I don't think you're going to need more than 1 sheet, but take as much as you want. Okay. Everybody set? All right. Today is a very light lift. It's not supposed to be hard. We're starting off with really simple stuff, hopefully stuff that you were taught in middle school. Okay. The whole first unit of the course is about some mathematical tools that you need to be successful in the Regents Physics course. We suggest that all students have completed the Regents Geometry course by the time you come to us. If you're in geometry right now, that's okay. It may be a little harder for you because you haven't learned some of the geometry that we use in this class, but we'll get there together and I'll help you out. But I want to make sure we are all on the same page about what things you need to know math-wise for the course. And so that's what we're going to do over the first couple weeks of this class. It's going to seem like you're almost in a math class. I apologize for that. But physics does have a lot of math in it. So we are going to kind of dive right into that to make sure you're all set for that. The first section that we talk about are terms called accuracy and precision. And what we're going to deal with today is just the term precision. What does it mean when we talk about precision? Tomorrow, we'll talk about accuracy. Okay? Now, you don't have to write down the next slide. The next slide is basically what are the learning objectives? What kinds of things do I expect you to know by the time we finish this? So things that I'm going to ask you to do are explain what precision is. If you're paying attention, you should be able to define that in your own words. What does precision mean? And then we're going to learn how to make a measurement using proper measuring technique. Then on tomorrow, or is it Monday? It might be Monday, actually. We'll talk about what the term accuracy means, and we'll calculate things called percent error, which I'm sure you've done before, particularly in the Regents Chemistry course. And then if I give you a bunch of measurements, I would expect that you can say, oh, Ms. Famoso, I know this measurement is the most precise one because of this. And I know this one is the most accurate one of the group because of this. So can you tell me which measurement is the most accurate one and which one is the most precise one? And tell me why. How do you know that? Those are things I expect you to be able to do by the end of this. So today, as I said, we're only going to talk about precision. So here are the notes on this term precision. What does it mean when we talk about precision? It means we're talking about how exact a measurement is made. What degree of exactness can a quantity be measured? Now, what exactly does that mean? It's determined by the type of measuring instrument that is used to make the measurement. And the precision can be determined when you look at a measurement by looking at how many decimal places the measurement was written out to. Okay. So I want to do a quick review. I'm going to go to the chalkboard first. I'm going to give you 3 measurements. Measurement 1, measurement 2, measurement 3. Based on the definition I just gave you of precision, can you determine which of those 3 is the most precise? Yeah. How did you know that? Exactly. Number 3 is the most precise measurement because it's going out to the, let's see if we can name these decimal places. This decimal place is called the ones place. Do you remember this from like elementary school? This place here is called the tenths. Very good. That place where the 5 is the hundredths. The 0 is in the what place? Thousandths. And the 1 is in the, I know what comes after thousandths? 10,000ths. Okay. This is going out to the most decimal places, so it is the most precise. When you make a measurement, you have to know what decimal place you are allowed to record the measurement too. You cannot just arbitrarily add more digits. It's determined by the tool. Let me give you an example. This is a meter stick. It's 1 meter long. Can you see on this side of the meter stick, it just shows the 1? Do you see any subdivisions on this meter stick? No. Let me switch sides on this meter stick. It is the same length of 1 meter. But now this side of the meter stick has 10 subdivisions. I'm now going to switch sides again. Look at this side of the meter stick. Do you see how there's now even more markings on it, more subdivisions? This is what a standard meter stick looks like. The subdivisions that are there go to the they're tenths of a centimeter. There are 10 subdivisions between each centimeter. Now, how do I know what decimal place I'm going to record to? Here is the rule for how we record them. Okay, this was another example. We just did it like we had up here on the board, so I'm going to skip that example. This is what we do to keep the precision of the tool. What we do is we first figure out what is the smallest division on the tool. So if I'm using this side of my meter stick, I'm going to say, okay, each of these numbers that are written here are centimeters. They're centimeters. The little lines are the smallest divisions. Those are therefore tenths of centimeters. So I have to read this tool to the 10th of a centimeter. That's my first step. The next step is to then estimate the next digit in the measurement. How far are you between the 2 little divisions on the tool? And that is where you end your measurement. You go 1 more digit beyond the digits that the tool gives you. So that way you have 1 estimated digit within the part of a division. And we're going to practice that with an example I have on the board, and then we're going to do a couple of practice questions together, and we're done. Okay? That's our physics lift for today. As you're getting that down, I'm going to grab a wooden meter stick like we always use in our labs. Is everybody else set with this information? Okay, let me shift over to one more slide. What I want to do here is do an example with you of how we're going to make a measurement. And this is what we're going to do in our first lab. Our first lab is all about making measurements and writing down the measurements both precisely to the correct number of decimal places. You'll have to figure out what decimal place you have to record the measurement to based on the rules we just gave you, but also doing it accurately. And we'll talk about what accuracy means later. But this is a typical meter stick that we use in our labs, made out of wood. And there's a problem with these meter sticks, namely down here on this edge of the meter stick where the 0 is assumed to be. Do you see a clear 0 there? Do you see a 0 there? Do you see a 0 there? Do you see a 0 there? Okay, I'm guessing there isn't a 0 there since these gentlemen can't see the 0. That's a problem because that means we can't read from the end of the meter stick. You can't do it. You can't assume there's a 0 there unless we don't make assumptions. We want to read the digits we can actually see on this meter stick to be accurate. So here's what we do. Let's say the question asks you to measure the length of that metal strip. And this is a segment of a meter stick. Notice that I put the metal strip not at the edge. I just plop it down somewhere in the middle of the meter stick where I can clearly see the numbers and the subdivisions. Here's what you need to do. You're going to take a measurement on the left side. Just read down and tell me what that number would be. You're going to read it also on the right side. Any idea what you can do with those two numbers to give you the length? You're then going to subtract them. That's it. So there's a little bit of subtraction involved as well. So let's try this together using the technique we just learned about to do this with the correct precision. Let's start with the bigger number. The bigger number is going to be on the right side of the metal strip. The first thing we have to do is determine the number that goes in the ones place in centimeters. Is the right end between 4 and 5? No, it's between 5 and 6. So the first digit that we're going to record for the right side is a 5 in the ones place. Because it's between 5 and 6, it means it's not greater than 6. So the 6 does not go there, the 5 goes there. Now, I want you to count the subdivisions that we are between. There are 10 of them. In the metric system, everything is done in terms of tens. That's what's nice about metric. It gives us nice decimals, no fractions. So when I count to get to here, I see I'm between the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, the 9th and the 10th subdivision. You see that? You see how I just counted that? Between 9 and 10, which means I record the smaller number. The next digit must be a 9. Now, according to the rules that we just talked about on the previous slide, I have to go one more digit. I have to estimate how far I am between the 9th and the 10th subdivision. This one, there is no correct answer for. Your guess is as good as mine. We all need to agree on the 9, but the next digit is our best guess. How far do you think we are between the 9th and the 10th subdivision? I want to tell me what their guess is? A 3. Okay. So that means the right side reading is 5.93 centimeters. We're now going to do the same thing for the left side. So what digit are we going to put in the ones place? This left side in the ones place is a 4, correct? What's going to go in the 10th place? Yes, a 1, because I'm between the first and the second. So I go between a 1. Now, the next digit is your guess. How far do you think you are between the first and the second subdivision? I hear somebody saying something. Sure. And we follow it with the unit centimeters. Now, what did we say we have to do to get the length? Subtract. Okay. 3 minus 6. Well, we can't do that. So 13 minus 6 is, oh gosh, you don't need a calculator for that. I know it's been a long summer, but 13 minus 6 is 7. 8 minus 1 is 7. 5 minus 4 is 1. So we just determined the length of that to be 1.77 centimeters. And that's how I expect you to make your measurements this year. Okay, so that is, I did another example here. This one, when I did it, I got 1.81. It's okay. We use the same technique. The answers will be slightly different. Whenever we make what's called an analog measurement like that, without using a digital technology, there's always some margin of error. And that's what goes into the accuracy piece of things, which we'll talk about next time. All right, any questions on how to make a measurement? Okay, then here's what we're going to do. We're going to practice that. We're going to practice this skill now. Every unit of the course is going to have a packet of practice questions. It's like a workbook. Most of the time, the homeworks are in the workbook. Please put your name on the top of this workbook. This is our Unit 1 workbook. By the end of the course, you'll have 16 of these packets. Those guys are a really polite group. I like that. By the end of the year, some of you are rolling your eyes. Another packet? Yes. You're welcome. Okay. Let's try some of this together, okay, to make sure we understand how this works. I shift over to my document camera once again. Probably going to disconnect because that's what it does. I didn't disconnect. Holy cow. Okay. And let me try to refocus that because that looks kind of blurry to me. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Let me get my name on this as well. I have my pencil out here. It's okay. I have more. Not the pencils I like. Okay. So I'm going to put my name on that too. And this is period 2. I'm putting that because I have 3 of these classes. I want to make sure I keep your packet separated from my other 2 classes. So here's what we're going to do. What you see here is a meter stick. This is a meter stick. And these are the subdivisions on the meter stick. In each case, each example, I want you to use the proper measuring technique, like we just discussed, to figure out what the length of that shaded bar is. What is the length of the shaded bar? Now, in every case here, though, we can assume that is exactly 0. You can say that's 0. That's all right. This is maybe it's a metal meter stick, so the 0 didn't rub off. We have a 0 there. So all we have to do is look at this end. And then what I want you to do is give me an explanation as to why that is the correct measurement that you're recording here. So for example, this one says it's 0.73 meters. Let's look at why that is. If this is 1 meter, each of these divisions is 1/10 of a meter. How do I know they're tenths of a meter? Because there are 10 of them in the meter. So I would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm between 7 and 8, which means the 10th place digit has to be a 7. The next digit is my estimate of how far I am between the 7th and the 8th subdivision. That's where they're coming up with the 3. These are in meters, not centimeters, because this is 1 meter long. You follow what I'm saying? Okay. Let's do number 1 together, and then I'm going to ask you to try number 2 and 3 on your own, and then we'll compare our answers. Number 1. The first thing we have to do is remember this is a 0. And this is less than the 1 meter long. So the digit in the 1's place is a 0. Now, how many subdivisions are on this meter stick? I'm sorry? No. How many? These are little subdivisions in here. How many of them are there to get you all the way to here? All right. Look at this. Can you count the lines that you see between here and here? How many subdivisions between here and here? 10. Now, how many of these groups are on this meter stick? There's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. There are 100 subdivisions. You with me? So it's not 2, it's 100. There are 100 subdivisions, which means we can accurately read to the 100th place. But then we're going to have to go 1 more digit. Our estimated digit will go to the 1000th place in meters. Okay. So here's my first question for you. The tenths are the longer lines, these ones here. What digit are we going to put in the 10th place? And I think this is where you told me before. That's a 2, right? 1, 2. We're between the second and the third digit in the 10th place. So that's a 2. Now you have to count the 100th place digits, which are these smaller ones. Between here and here only. Anyone want to tell me what digit they feel is in the 100th place? Yep, that's what I got. How far are you between the 8th and the 9th subdivision? If you're right on it, do you know what you put? A 0. I think we're right on it. So that would be 0.280 meters. Now, what's our explanation for this? This is because the meter stick has 100 subdivisions. So our measurement must go to the thousandths place, which is the estimated digit. Does that make sense what we just did? Okay, so what I'd like you to do right now, try number 2 and also try number 3. Not only do I want a measurement in meters, you can add that unit after those blanks, add the M for meters. I also want you to give me the explanation as to how you knew what digit you were supposed to record the measurement to. Okay, give you a couple of minutes to try those 2 together. Number 2 and 3. Try those on your own right now. Give those 2 a try right now. Not only do I need the measurement on the line, but I also need an explanation to go with that measurement. How did you know what decimal place to record the measurement to? What I think we'll do is I'm going to give you the rest of this period. We only got a few more minutes to finish those 2. And then at the start of class tomorrow, after I've collected your lab safety contracts, if they're signed, we'll then go over those 2 and then we'll go on to new stuff. Okay? Cool? So if you did not finish those two, please finish them for tomorrow. If you did not finish those two. Does anyone need to know